That's enough of that. But anyway, we're going to be talking about a couple of things tonight. But Michelle came up with a topic the other day, and she should know. And most of the hosts on this network probably have lived or owned something haunted. Quite a few of them lived in homes. I've lived in a few haunted homes myself. I haven't owned any haunted homes. The one I just sold, I don't think it was haunted. I'm surprised it wasn't because it was 120 years old, but I don't think it was. Nobody ever complained about ghosties or anything like that there. And it was an old slave quarter brought down from the French quarter, brought out to Medellin back in the day. So I was kind of surprised it wasn't haunted. Actually, anything, by the way, if it's in the city, it's probably haunted. So many people have died in the city that it's what is there, 400,000 people there, so probably about 10 times that many have died over the years, maybe more than that, from all kind of horrible things that you don't want to talk about. So, yes, I'm sure there's some haunted places there. And I know quite a few of the hosts have lived in haunted homes or have been involved with haunted homes. Some I would call Casper-friendly homes. Some like the Hell House, dragging you down the stairs with your head going, it's bouncing down the stairs. It just depends, I've had some weird ones. We're gonna get in this, but I'm gonna let Michelle and Dale tell y'all who he is. I'll start with Michelle because she's on top, and I'll be right back. And y'all go ahead.
Down on the bottom.
On the bottom.
So what am I doing?
Just tell who you are, baby.
Okay. Well, I'm Michelle DeRoche, and of course, you can find me on, Wednesday nights, Thursday nights, from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 to 10 Central on the Outer Realm with myself and my little compadre, Amelia Pisano. You can catch me every Saturday with Joe Montaldo, and we are on the Gray Zone Uncensored, which is 5 to 7 p.m. Central and 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Del?
And me, yes, you can check me out on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's Canada time, not U.S. time. Anyway,
well, some U.S.
Yeah, and tomorrow I have Paul Anthony Wallace going to be on with me, and this topic that we're talking here today also is something that I'm asking for your stories out there in the ether, all the people out there in the world, your stories of weird happenings and stuff like that. Send those to deliciousstories@gmail.com.
Oh, right.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm back. All right. Ooh, look, that was fast, man. See, we got Bob back there. He's waiting to talk with y'all. He's actually over there. Oh, he's over there. Sorry. But he's back there somewhere. I see his skull ass back there. So.
We might want to make mention that we're broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network via International Public Radio and UFO Paranormal Radio and what is it again? God's what? Say
we
it.
We changed the name of that place is what we do. Anyway. Be sure to check out International Public Radio. It doesn't have hardly any archives. It's just a little virgin station, but it is there. Guys, UFOs and Extraterrestrials is available.
Oh,
it has a lot of archives there.
It's so easy, but it's not.
Yeah, but it's not. It's hard. It's God, UFOs, and Extraterrestrials. You need to be God's Extraterrestrials. Anyway, the way it's set up is a pain in the ass. It was a boo boo on Joe's part. I might have had a glass of wine.
You need to put a link or a channel name that's really small, like about 5 or 6, like a word, like Joe's house.
Hey Chad, what you doing there? Hey, I ain't seen you in a while. And our friend from Austria popped in earlier doing John Goodman's show from Writers of the Future. Guys, I'm gonna be out in LA this year, getting in trouble. Y'all better come out there. There'll be a lot of happenings out there, and I'll be the only poor person there. Oh man, no, I'm serious. All right, I can't look at I just gonna have to ignore it. That just completely distracted me. Jesus, I was thinking
about trouble.
No, I was thinking about this haunted house in New Orleans where my big sister used to live on Calhoun Street behind Tulane Stadium. And I remember one night we were down there doing Rush Week. Now you gotta remember we're like, there's 4 boys all together. So it was me and my 3 nephews. So it was 11, 13, 15, and 17. And it was Rush Week. Now, if anybody knows what Rush Week is at Tulane's, when all the people are out trying to make their sororities. So for about 3 nights, people just constantly streaking across the campus all night. So we're sitting up there watching them, just being teenagers, hanging out. And I still remember this. My nephew goes, "What the is that?" And I'm like, "What?" And we're all thinking it was like some girl running by that we missed or something. Or my other nephew, he was recording. But regardless, that's what we thought it was. He said, no, you didn't see that. I'm like, I didn't see if he saw was behind us. I'm like, what do you mean behind us? Because it's just like pitch black behind us. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's nothing back there. And then you just hear this like thud, like someone dropped like a bag of cement. It just was because, whatever it was solid. It didn't move around. It was like, boom. Like, all four of us kind of turn around like, okay. Then we go back to watching, just ignoring, drinking on some wine. And then you hear this weird giggling, and then you hear somebody saying, are you enjoying yourself? And we're like, so at this point, we all stood up. We thought it was like a teacher or maybe a cop or something. We're teenagers hanging out on Tulane Stadium. We're not supposed to be anywhere. I mean, we had to sneak in there through the gates and all get to where we were. And whatever it was, and I still don't know what it was. And we never went back to find out. It stepped out of the darkness just long enough for the four of us to see it. This was the funniest hike line you ever seen, hauling ass down these stairs. Well, I mean, because we were way up at the top of the stadium. So we were zinging down, down the ramps, down the stairs, down the ramp. Never even stopped to look to see if the damn thing was chasing us until we got out of the gate. I still remember when we emptied it. I sound like Fiona after going for a ride, man. It was, oh, man. But I don't, and none of us even thought about going back to it. None of us were really into it. None of us wanted to know. So, and then I remember my oldest nephew talking about, oh, no, that's the one that lives at the house. It just followed us over. I'm like, what the hell? Something in your house a lot of times I ain't seen no ghosty, man. But the house did have weird, but all them houses in New Orleans are going to have weird sounds. They're all, 100, 200 years old. They were made out of shipboard timbers, clapboard, stuff like taken off the old Spanish galleons, French galleons, and they were used to turn into homes. It's amazing that 200 years they're still standing, but man, they move, they shift, they make noise, they pop. Sometimes the way that cedar lap rubs up against that board, the oak, it sounds like something's talking or crying or whining. It's creepy sounding, but it's not legit paranormal. I mean, if you didn't know what you were listening to, yeah, you'd think it was paranormal. You have to.
Here's a question for you, Joe, because you're down in the States, and Michelle, you were talking about selling properties or buying a new property. Do you have to disclose if you have paranormal activity in your house when you're selling a house in Canada or the States?
Here you do. And back in 2007, I had to do a newspaper article as a contribution to another article they were doing with realtors. And apparently, I know at the time they had to disclose if someone died in the house, but at that point they were just bringing in disclosing if a house was really haunted. So I don't know if they really strictly adhered to that, but back as far as 2007, realtors were saying, I mean, anything could have changed between now and then, but I think it's funny that you get a lot of these little realtor signs that say not haunted. Just making sure. Yeah.
It's a weird thing because technically in Louisiana, you're supposed to disclose if there was any kind of violent death in the house or a known haunting. But for some reason in New Orleans and in Baton Rouge, they don't actually follow that because everything there is friggin' haunted.
I was going to say everything's haunted.
Yeah, so I would just assume people, if you come down here to buy property, and there's some great property for sale in the city. It's expensive, but it's great. Just know it's probably got a friendly ghost. I don't think there's anything really left of any major harm in the city unless somebody's bringing it there. I got to be honest. The city's old. It's 300 plus years old. It's been, other things before that. So you got 400 years of whatever on top of it. It's most of the bad stuff has been forced out of the city by whoever. There was rumors like people like Marie Laveau and all used to go through and get rid of things that didn't belong. And that probably still goes on today. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure shit can wander in and come from other countries and other places. But for the most part, there's lots of hauntings. They just don't seem to be upsetting anybody. Scaring them, yeah, but not really upsetting them. What I mean by scaring them is, you're walking lost and damn ghost walks through. And then you're kind of like, okay, that didn't really happen. I go back to thinking.
Hey, some people go to New Orleans to experience that.
Yes,
I mean, my daughter visited New Orleans and she went on a ghost tour there. And she was told a story. I don't recall which one of the hotels it was, but there was a couple that stayed there, and they were kind of complaining a little bit because they're like, "Oh, there's nothing going on over here. What the heck, eh? There's a waste of money. Blah blah blah. All of this." Well, when they got home and they started looking through their photographs, they saw a picture which looked like it had been taken from the ceiling, and it was taken of them lying in bed.
Oh wow.
Right? It's like, I feel a little bit unnerving. I'm
Mhm.
like, so something did happen. It just snapped a picture of them while they were asleep from above.
See, just weird shit just happens.
That almost
Yeah,
sounds like
apparently.
those weird hotels, those 2 and less star hotels that have all the mirrors on the ceiling everywhere else. They have a secret camera behind them. They're putting
Yeah,
all
that could
this
be.
up on the internet.
It's a blackmail picture. But I mean, considering it was on their camera, I was like, oh, okay. You know, you've got one of these big 35 millimeter cameras. Those aren't really light. Like, those are pretty heavy to start with.
Yeah.
So,
Alan, what do you mean? What happened to the podcast? I don't know. Have to see. I don't know. I remember we had a couple of places we lived that was really haunted. We had one place that seemed to have something kind of half-assed nasty in it because it'd be weird shit happening. I noticed that more. It was more one of them things that just tend to irritate people because you'd see people just get cranky out of for no reason. Actually, a lot of times it was just really weird. And the house was strange. You knew some witches used to live there because on the back right corner they had actual real belladonna growing on the ground. And they had another form of a nightshade growing on the other side of the porch. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, both these plants will kill you dead as a doorknob if you eat them or you drink them. You can use them in a very limited fashion. I guess in a way it'd be like an LSD or something, but they also can be used to make the zombie drug too. So I don't know if you even want to mess with that shit. But it was weird. And I remember puking out, and then one morning, I remember 2 of the girls were screaming how there was a black hand on the door about this big. It was
the
like
big hand.
someone had painted a black hand on the door. So I walked over there to move it, and it was a shadow. It just went away. I blocked it, but whatever it is, I walked in front of it, and then I really freaked out. She was just like, "Whoa, wait a minute, where the hell is this coming from?" This was up here on the coast, not too far from where we live now. It was creepy, but nothing happened. That was it. It just faded out, and nothing seemed to happen. And sometimes you hear like the front door just open and slam. Now, on the coast, if you got both doors open, that's not that unusual because there's a lot of breeze up here. But when your doors are closed and they do it, it's a whole different thing. You're like, wait, what? Wait, who? Because then, most times you think, well, who's coming in the house? Oh, somebody must be pissed off. You heard the door essentially. And I was upstairs, so I'd go down, nope. And then my favorite was I had this, I still do, but when I was young, I used to love to chart the stars. So I'd go lay out at night. I had a nice, really nice star map that had the wheel that turned, so I could always know where everything was, so I was tracking. I'd be sitting there some nights, and I had the wheel sitting on the thing so I could see it with a light next to it, a little light, so I could watch it. And I had the telescope and all set up on binoculars. And then you just see the wheel turn and then stop somewhere. Like, hey, I want you to look at this. I'm like, what? Like, what? Yes, there is. What? Hold on. Sorry, guys. I don't think Mike got an invite. I have to send Mike an invite. Okay. That's weird. I thought I sent that right invite. Anyway, it was just a strange thing because, you'd be looking at. And I remember the first one that ever did it to pointed it to Beetlejuice. I was thinking, this guy's got a sense of humor, man. Come on, really, Beetlejuice? Then I had to go look at Beetlejuice to see if there's anything significant to it other than that. But he did it a couple times. And then that's the house. Linda and I were 10, 15 miles from the house, right, driving down the beach. When we seen these 2 white doves, and Linda's like, these white doves got over the car, followed us home, landed in the yard. And I said, well, we'll never get them. They're wild, crazy. I went and got a little cage, put it out there, shoot them. They went right in the cage, got in and came and lived with us. I mean, what good chances of that? It's like the dolphin living in the backyard. I mean, weird shit like that just happens. I don't even know what to think about that kind of stuff. It's like good luck, bad luck. Did somebody just put a whammy on me with some doves or some shit? I mean, shit. It's just weird. It's just weird. Let's see if we can find Uncle Mikey.
Well, that's Harris, that we were just talking about it before we went live there about you always have this sensationalism that with a lot of these shows talking about these evil spirits and evil ghosts that plague people, but you rarely hear stories about ghosts that are beneficial. Like I'd always like to have like a ghost to be a buddy that was out there and says, "Hey, this is where the gold is right here. Or this is where they buried the money."
Sure.
So
There's a
I
lot
got
of
one you'll
numbers.
love. That, they
There's a
got
lot
the
of
fisherman's ghost. You love him.
yeah.
He
I think
he.
it's sensationalism. Nice ghosts just don't. It doesn't typically sell, so you don't hear about
Yeah,
them.
but they call him the fisherman's ghost. He shows up wherever the speckled trout are. If
Oh.
you see this little apparition by the bridge, if you go fish there, you'll catch the hell out of specks. These people are ready to swear by this ghost. I've never personally seen him, but if I do, I'm going speck fishing. I can tell you that. I'm going to get the pole. I go do some fishing. I'm actually boat shopping as we talk. Well, I don't know now. I got to put in front of studio, but still, I'm
There you
gonna
go.
fishing. Maybe I can use all the termites for bait.
There you
What the hell? Okay. Let me see. All right, did he get it that time? What the hell, poor Michael? I think the system's kicking on Michael's head.
go. Maybe he's having trouble with his camera.
Del's an ass.
He's probably listening to the show saying, "Way to go, Del! Shut up."
Oh man,
That's funny.
Who?
So-
And
So I was going to
Wait,
ask there, because we're talking about ghosts and haunted houses there. Michelle DeRogier, you live in a haunted house. What are the names of the ghosts that are or spirits that are around in your place?
Casper.
Lived in a couple of haunted houses. My last house was haunted, and it wasn't so much specifically with spirits. They just sort of wandered in and out. We had one named Bill there, and what was funny about that was that I tried to not say anything about it to the kids, because this is the family home. My daughter was at 15 years old at the time, and I didn't bank on the fact that all of her friends could see her because they had webcams back then, and they would chat on Microsoft Messenger, things like that, and they would give full descriptions and things like that. And she'd had all kinds of experiences with him. So I'm just sitting here, and comes up to me one day. She's like, "Okay, what's with the guy in the basement with the plaid shirt and the trucker hat?" I'm like, "What? What do you mean? Like, I don't know what you're talking about." She'd be like, "Yes, you do." Anyway, we figured out he was an 18-year-old kid that committed suicide somewhere along, because it was all farms way back there. Over the years, they've been divided up. We were on a couple of acres, surrounded by ravines. So it was way off in the distance. But I guess, coming in because of her age, he was really depressed and things like that. And it would really affect her moods. So we eventually had to send him off. But she actually did better with him than we thought, because, I remember one time she was coming downstairs down the basement. She had her arms full of her laundry. And basically he kind of like, she shuffled the cat out of her way with her foot gently, just so she didn't trip over the cat with all this laundry. And he gave her a little shove and her clothes went flying. And she was just like, wow. And another night she was in bed, and she was probably like 16, 17 at that point. And she said to me, she goes, "Oh yeah." She says, "Bill just, climbed into bed with me." It's okay. That's so not cool. I'm like, "What did you do about that?" She goes, "I stayed on my own side." I'm just like, I'm having an aneurysm. And she's just like real casual about it. Right. So that was different, because it was before I really got into the field per se. Like, I was getting into it, not as hot as heavy as I am now. This house is notoriously haunted. It's on a ghost tour here in Niagara. It's on a bus tour. It's kind of surprising when you walk out the front door and there's a bus full of freaking people and tourists, and we're just like, oh, okay. Some people think it's a facade for a TV show. They just try to walk in.
Better than the media out there, CNN, Fox, all of a sudden on your lawn, you're like, what the hell did I do?
Yeah, well, no kidding, right? Either way, it's a little bit disturbing. Wayne's sitting out there one day, and a guy tries to walk in the house, like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm going in." He goes, "Oh, it's my house. What the hell do you think you're doing?" He goes, "Oh, I thought it was a facade." No, actually, it was not. So, but yeah, there's a lot of spirits here. The house has been cleared, of anybody who was stuck or grounded, because it's sort of my rule, is if you do come in, I feel better knowing that they're moved on. And then if they want to come back, they're welcome. But then at least it's without all that baggage and any angst that they might have. Because, if they're sitting there with anxieties, we had a woman who passed away in the house, and she she was just really sick. So, you know, her head would spin a lot. And sometimes people would report feeling that sense of really feeling off with their equilibrium. So just by kind of moving people forward, then you're not as affected by it. And they come back and they're just a lot happier. So the spirits that are here are only here in visitation because they like being here.
Cool.
So it's helpful. But you still hear things like walking, going down the stairs. Oh, that's been torn down. I don't think that's here anymore, is it? That one there, that one you're showing there. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like one that was here in Canada, an old hospital.
Anyway, that looks haunted to me.
I know that can be deceiving. Yes.
See, now that looks like a haunted house to me.
Hey, man, just because it's old doesn't mean it's haunted. That's
It
the old
looks haunted to me, man.
something we all say.
This does not look haunted here. Now, here we go.
That's it.
Crystal Homestead, South
Most haunted places I've ever
It looks
place. The most haunted place I've ever been in. I have apparition pictures. Was that guy's apartment? The building was 2 years old, but it was his family. You know, so look at it like that. But yeah, I love walking around old places, man. I love the architecture. You know.
Yeah, I like those houses where you have the second floor and you got a deck that goes all the way around the whole place. There, that's
it's
awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah,
look at that.
I'm actually contemplating put a wraparound deck in his house.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
Sitting out there in a lightning storm, man. He's just sitting. Got a little bit of weed.
So wait,
There-
who is
there-
this? I've never even heard of this house, Miss Monte Crisco Homes. So what the hell is this?
There you go, Joe. So if you have that down there in Louisiana, you can just go and put your fishing pole off the side there and catch alligators right off your.
That was in Australia.
Yeah, that was in Australia. But actually, it's funny you brought that up, Doug, because we're extending my back deck out of 15 feet so that I can actually fish off my back deck into the bayou.
There you go.
And we'll put a set of stairs going down because we're going to build a new bath back there for the boat.
Catch those alligators. I need a new wallet, by the way.
It's man, look, I'd like to give you a nice tour. I tell you what, one of the nicest pair of boots I ever owned was Baby Crocodile. Soft, man, that was just so soft. Oh my God, them boots were nice, man.
I know a guy has got a whole load of them in his mansion, man, in Clyde, New York.
I know.
You've been there, yeah, Mark. So he's got like a whole wall full of the little alligator, little baby alligator thing. Yeah, that room.
Yeah, one of the rooms up there. It's just got all this stuff nailed up to along the walls. It's like, all right.
He's got the child coffin in the middle of the floor as a table.
It felt like home for me, so that's the room I rented.
Oh my God! See,
well, you know what's interesting about that room? That was the killer's mom's summer bedroom, Eugenia. So that whole suite was her. That's the best energy in the house. It feels calm and nice.
Honest to God, I rented that suite. Okay, and I had a nap, and I had never slept so good. Like anywhere.
Because I knew the queen of the dam was there. They weren't going to screw with you. They were like, leave her.
I nicknamed napping to Clyding.
They like you. I mean, we've had people attacked in that room. Cindy Thompson got scratched on the back of her neck. She was like, "Oh!" So that's when she was walking through the hallway, though.
Baby,
yeah,
this is awesome. You know, he gave us a tour. I'm like, oh, this is all right. And honestly, slept like a baby. It was amazing.
And in those windows in that alligator room, I was in the doorway. I took 5 pictures with about a second apiece. I got 3 of them, nothing. 2 of them, one had the picture of Bill Ely, his face in the window, and his opposite window was one of the women that he killed. And the guy Mark, we showed Mark the pictures, and he showed us a picture of Bill Ely, same dude, except he looked all mangled.
Wow.
So do y'all think the Queen will let us come investigate the Tower of London?
Oh yeah.
Built by an ancestor. Thank you.
But I'm just saying,
I see how the Queen of England made a huge statement about this sex toy company that she loves so much, man. What was going on with that? You think they're haunted?
Maybe not haunted.
I know it's not paranormal.
Maybe she owns stock.
I'm a sick bastard. I had to say it. I just find it very interesting that she's like saying all this good stuff about sex toy companies. Yeah, me too. I get it. Maybe that's where she gets the royal goose.
Getting paid. As long as she's making money, I'm sure she's a happy camper.
I think that she just wants to knock that chickie off.
Yeah,
so what about haunted houses? I know people live in haunted houses, man. It's good for bad. You know, I mean, they never feel like they're alone. Is one. If you could ask for respect and privacy. That doesn't mean anything. Usually, if they're there for a reason. One of the first dudes I ever had on as a guest on Discovery Paranormal, which is on every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, is Dick Sutton. And he did past life transgression. And he said the people that had emotional problems then, especially ones who commit suicide, bring them over, where they are there. And then when they get born again, they bring them over into this life. So most of the problems you have now is the problems from the past that were never solved, and I found that very interesting concept,
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is I must have been really good in my last life. See, now this looks like a haunted house to me too, man.
That's the ancient.
You're doing all right, Joe. I think you lead your own life. You know what I mean? I don't think people tell you what to do. I think you survive.
Yeah,
and
I do. I do.
You got a good family. You got a good situation. So you can't
knock
that in this life.
A little more money, I'd be a little happier.
Every time I see one of those old Shakespearean houses there, I just remember this. I'm not sure if it was a Monty Python stuff like that, where because they never had bathrooms or plumbing and stuff like that. Toss their chamber pots out the window onto the sidewalks. So every time I see that, I'm like, oh,
the old Tudor style places. Yeah.
I love how they redid the chimney with the red brick through the brown. I guess it must have collapsed at one.
I love that style, but that place looks like it's got issues.
Look, it looks like it's breathing, man. Look right here. Wait, right here. See, look, it looks like it's breathing.
It's a really old location.
I'm alive.
It's very haunted, and it's notorious for a really nasty poltergeist. And one of the last owners, if I'm not mistaken, spoke of a succubus. So again, it's really old. I think this place goes back to the 11 or 1200s.
This place.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, really old.
Yeah, it
looks very uninviting. So I get it.
Damn.
Ooh, look at that.
There's Canada. Look at this thing.
There we go.
Too many stairs, man. What are they nuts?
This is like something out of The Shining or something.
Yeah, it's beautiful though.
Got that shit.
They don't do architecture like that much anymore.
No,
because that actually takes money. Yeah,
they like houses that look like
$1 billion to build something like that. That's when they had cheap labor.
Yeah.
Here comes an interesting question, right? Because we've discussed this many times here about time and space and past, present, and future. So, have anybody encountered a ghost from the future?
Can't say that I have. Nothing that wasn't ET. So.
See, like the places that we're usually called into, and that's something that had to do more with the past. I mean, no, nothing like that. Nothing from the future. But I do believe there is that future tense. Past, present, future makes sense, right?
Yeah. I think I lived in this place in the last lifetime.
I've had dreams of the future,
chasing people around this place.
I don't know whether it's the future or the past. I mean, I had dreams like of these people who were real tall and very thin, and they wore this weird clothing. Man, it looked futuristic. But then when I read that thing about the CIA and Mars and all that, and when I heard that psychic go back in time and a million years ago and describe the people on Mars, man, I feel like that's what I saw. And man, I had my dream from my Uncle Henry when I was like 8 years old. That's still to this day. I'm 54 and I'm still talking about it. Where he came to me in this dream and said, "We're really from Mars." He took me there. And then we were under the surface and they had all these animals like saber-toothed tigers and woolly mammoths, all kinds of animals. And then the floor, there was light coming from the floor. It was like water running under the floor. And there was like little squares of lucite plastic, all that you were walking on, and it was just the smell, the feeling, the whole bit. And he said that our people are really from Mars and we had to leave, and that's all I remember. And he was still alive at that point. There was no even reason for me to have a dream like that, but he was a scientist. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Interesting concept.
Someone's got the laughing gas, man.
No, I just changed my avatar. This is one that Joe loves.
Oh, Mr. Pink Pants over there.
Put the Chippendales dancer on there, man.
Yeah. Wait, where's this at? Wait, whoa. See, now I'm leaving automatically. I see a bunch of dolls hanging out of a tree. I'm leaving. I don't like dolls. I never liked dolls. I'm going to start liking dolls. I may go get the blowtorch. I might go get my Elon Musk blowtorch out and have some fun. So you hang out with you, dog?
I used to make wind chimes, man. Maybe you could do some of that.
I don't like dolls. It's one of them things. And I'm telling you, every time we bring somebody on this network in the last 20 years that's got several hosts that do these shows, and this guy, there'll be different guys, but it's one guy in particular. It'll be like $40 behind him. He'll be just talking away. The damn doll will go, just move this way, move that way. One time, one looked at one looked at it. I was like, really? Get the out of here. I had to go back and look at the video just to make sure I wasn't seeing things. I was like, Lord, I even went back and circled it and put it back on YouTube, which thank you, United Public Radio, ain't there anymore. But we got a copy of it. Now we still got a copy of it. But it was just creepy.
Well,
and it's bad enough. I mean, we always seen stuff moving around behind people, which that's not so unexpected.
That doesn't even look like the Sally house. Must be the angle.
That looks, and that's a haunted house. I would tear that house down if I seen that. Somebody said, do you think we should restore it? No, I think it's time to level that thing.
Yeah.
And build something else there.
Looks like it's about to level by itself.
It looks like it. If you look at it on the bottom, it's got foundation issues.
Because brick, man, when moisture gets in there, if it's not taken care of, and it just gets moldy.
Yeah, you don't know what's behind it.
That's like the bitch of it.
White Eagle.
I know people that lived in stone houses. I rented an apartment in a stone house that you just can't get them dry. Unless it's in the desert.
Yeah, and they're great for the desert because they breathe.
Well, then you cook like an oven, man.
See, why are so many bars haunted? By the way, I notice there's a lot of
because the people having a good time.
Because they're not of sound mind. So if you're loaded and you die there, you're probably going to stay loaded. But it's like Michael says. I think that too. I think if it was a place you really used to enjoy going to and hanging with your friends, you would probably return. But how many people go to hotels and how many of them have died there? They say that hotels are littered with people who go to die. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
whether it's suicide, whether it's murder.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so sometimes you die of a heart attack. They die in their bed. I mean, it happens often.
Yeah.
But,
Edinburgh in Scotland.
But like me personally, I have 10 places chosen that I would haunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a couple of them are sororities up at Cornell here, but that'll be interesting. But, you want to be in happy places, right? You want to be in places where there's action, unless you just want to be gloomy and left alone. No, just move on. Just go on.
I think I should be playing 9 rounds of golf is what it looks like here.
No matter where I go in the world, I opt to stay at really old places, preferably haunted. I purposely look for it.
We've run into spirits that were stuck. They couldn't leave. And there was other spirits there. They didn't even know each other. They weren't even aware of each other.
Just different layers, I guess, right?
Just like compartmentalized.
Yep.
It's very interesting how that works. And much of them say they see things how they were. Like they don't see the bombed out wrecks that we're walking through. You know?
No, sometimes, I've worked in locations where spirits can see both. They can see things back in their time and they can see things in the present, which I found really interesting.
If you guys were ghosts, where would you like to haunt?
Be up there, Thunder Bay, man. Your house. It seems like there's action there. I'll let you out of that cage. I'll be like, ooh.
That's why I escaped the camp.
Like, you're free. I'll put Freebird on the radio and then open the door. Free. You're free. I'll be like the ghost that helps people.
This don't even look like a castle. This looks like a church.
What if you want to help people?
Norway. Where would I haunt? The good thing about being an energy form, being a ghost, is I think you can go anywhere you want. I don't know that I have one specific place because I love traveling the world now. I don't imagine that would change if I was moved on, because then I could do it for free. So
what about the universe?
I would go everywhere.
Don't you want to go like Venus or
everywhere
out there, different nebulas? I mean, there's so much to do and see.
Everywhere. Yeah, that's what I mean. That I don't think there would be any limitations. I think at that point you could, being aware. Now, not everybody is aware that when they're passed on. Some people don't even realize that they're gone. But I think if they're aware that they've moved on and they realize that they don't have those limitations and that they could travel, that they would just sort of go all over the place.
We got that one time. I'm not dead in an EVP.
Oh.
My friend Pete and I looked at each other like, what the F?
Yeah.
One guy was like, help me.
So where the
Like,
hell are you then?
well, you know what? Because a dude had fallen in the well and died, and then nobody even knew he was down there. So he was like working on the place, like this is like 100 years ago, and he died in the well. Then they just buried it, and he was in there. We think that's the dude. And the basement in that building was always flooded, and they never knew why. It always had 4 or 5 inches of water. And it wasn't the spring, it wasn't the leak, it wasn't anything like that. It wasn't the gutters. It was a big 8,000 square foot building, but interesting though. Yeah, creepy.
Wow, no kidding. I don't know. Would you buy a haunted house?
If I could do something, I wanted the Amityville Horror House. It was just too expensive. I thought it would be an awesome B&B, and it's right on the water. It's got a beautiful boathouse. It's got like an acre of land, I think, to it all in all. I mean,
I think people have actually tried to do that, and the town fought it.
The town, they're a bunch of assholes.
But
And
they're very well-to-do people and really expensive real estates. They don't want something that's going to bring down the value of their property. I see that.
I will say this. Amityville School is one of the most dangerous school systems you can put your kids in. So the well-to-do people, unless they send their kids to private school, they don't want to be in Amityville. It's only that one nice South Amityville section. I used to live at 40 Broadway, which is right on Route 110 by Montauk Highway. Right. So the Amityville Horror House is maybe 3 blocks from me. And beautiful it is, but you can still get cheap houses down there. They're big plantation type of homes. I mean,
wow, nice.
There's so much history. I actually considered moving back to that area because it's got its own private beach that people didn't know. Like my mom, she used to go to that little beach all the time, and it was just for residents of South Amityville. So, but yeah, North Amityville, that's where you can get shot, crime, or meth labs, you name it. I mean, that's like the worst of the worst, and they all filter in to that school system. So, yep.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I used to know the police chief. I knew the police chief when all that stuff was going on with the Amityville Horror House. You know, I mean, he's still alive. I still know, and he sent police there all the time. When that place was empty, not even from people screwing around, you know, because there used to be a stop sign outside, so people knew exactly where it was, and they got rid of that stop sign and they changed the facade of the house so it don't look the same. And it's actually the side of the house facing the road.
That's right.
But the police chief said that there was stuff. He walked in there himself. He said, man, there was such a gripping, foreboding feeling about that place. His officers didn't want to go in. He didn't want to go in. And stuff happened for years and years, you know. And the bar, I used to hang out at this bar and shoot pool.
But was that it, or was it because so many people knew about it?
The dude who killed his family, like afterwards, he went down to his bar that was down the end of the road and you know, had a bunch of drinks and told people, hey, I just killed my family. He was like, you know what I mean? Like, so it was a really crazy story, but I do believe it's haunted like crazy. I do believe that people won't stay there because it is haunted, not just because it's the Amityville Horror House, but because it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah, but maybe all these other people are giving it the extra power.
Yeah, but
I would think that too.
When I first moved up here, there was the Michael King case, a guy who worked as a handyman with his mom. His mom was a housekeeper for this family. 2 weeks before Christmas, he killed them all. You know, brother, sister, young kids, mother, father, boom, tied them up. He raped the women, did all that stuff, and killed them. And he and his mother actually used credit cards to go on a shopping spree after that. And that's a really crazy, twisty case. But I could take you on that road. I could blindfold you, and all you guys are very sensitive. You'll know where it is when we drive past because you could feel it gets sucked in that negativity. There was great suffering in that place, and it's in the late 80s, so it's pretty recent still. But I think when there's great suffering, man, there's not much you could do about it to get rid of it.
Do you think how crazy this is there that a guy goes and kills somebody, goes to the bar and says, hey, I just killed all these people there, and everybody just like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, and just
like my family, you know, people like they called the police on him. That's where he was arrested. So he was like, I just killed my family.
Yeah, but nobody cared.
No, they cared. They were like, what? You know, this is late in the morning, you know, because like these bars were open till 4.
That's true.
So this was like middle of the night.
What do you think? Like, you know, you say, you know, you buy a house, like you're just making mention now, I would have liked to bought this house, turned it into like a B&B or something. Haunted or not haunted? Like that's the question. Because where do we where do ethics come in? Oh, I've been to Highgate. It's pretty cool too. Where does it come into play where we say to ourselves, ethically speaking, should we try to move these spirits on? Number one, or hey, they're here for a reason. They should be allowed to stay. And then you have a lot of people who make their living, from having, haunted locations and such. So where do we decide what the right thing to do is and what's okay and what's not considered okay?
There's an ugly side of it, man. That Tessa Duda from Rolling Hills, I met her, man. She was not interested in moving those spirits on. And I said, but there's time for them to go. They're not an attraction. It's not Disneyland. These are spirits,
Mm-hmm.
They're happy where they are, is what she said. Really?
Well, some people say that. I mean, I've been to places, I've never been there, but I've been to some places where spirits seem happy enough, but should they have the right? Like our spirits here is like, I wanted them. I felt the right thing to do is to move them on. And if they want to come back, then yeah, by all means, because
Right.
just to get rid of all those earthly hangups, especially if you've got one who, that they're really sad or they were sick, and they're kind of got stuck behind,
Right.
Like,
If they're earthbound, if they cross and they come back, that's their prerogative.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But if they're earthbound, they're stuck and they're in a situation where no one's meeting them. They don't know what to do. Or a lot of them are confused.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they died, they don't even know what happened. And that's just kind of like an amusement park to me. It's not. I don't know. It's just I know people that have haunted B&Bs, and it is what it is. That's not as much as the attraction as the B&B, but it is haunted. But if you have a place like a Rolling Hills, and it is not a B&B situation, but it's a sensationalistic attraction to something that they tortured people there. They hooked them up to electrodes. I mean, they did terrible, unspeakable things, to people. This is not a place of happiness. It's a place of great suffering. So, and that woman, her attitude was just so horrible. Ugh. I never talked to her since, and I just dissuade anybody from going there and supporting that,
Mm-hmm.
So what do you get into that part about you have ghosts, right? They could be evil entities, but what about like if you have demons in your house and people that have that allow that stuff to happen?
I think that's, anybody who's got a private place, and only because, we work with people every week in situations with, I won't say, demonic necessarily, but I mean, definitely with some angry entities of sorts. And I mean, I spent a great deal of time. I have for 18 years working with people in those situations. Every now and then I would come across somebody who had spirits in their house, and they just basically wanted to know more about their spirits. They wanted to take the time to know about them, to find out why they were there. And some people were happy for the spirits to remain behind. And it was just a matter of saying, well, first off, does the spirit know that they passed on? Do they want to remain back where they are, And then it's a matter of saying, okay, well, Fred, for example, acts up every day at this time because, you guys come in, you're disturbing him. This is a place where he would come to, let's say, read and it's funny how many families would want to coexist and say, okay, well, we're happy to stay out of this room for an hour. And Fred would agree, and then everything would be peaceful. Sometimes you've got people, who were alive during really hardcore religious times. So they were really, like you shall not sin or you will go to hell kind of bit. And they figured, well, I've sinned and I'm going to stay here and take my chances as opposed to going to the other side. So there's a lot of different reasons why they remain behind. So do you educate them and say, well, hey, no, you are dead. And no, this doesn't apply necessarily. You can go over and give them that option. Like it's a really fine line. I'm all for spirits that want to remain behind and they're happy at a location and people come and investigate the location and they're happy to interact because there are places like that. I have a friend in Linesville, who's got a place and spirits are always happy. Like 99% of them that would come in were happy being there. And I've been to other places where you just feel like it's a jail sentence for these spirits that it's still an afterlife that of just hanging back and and being, like you say, Michael, like an attraction. Do this. I command you to do that. Open the door, make a noise. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it's the right thing personally, but it's just me, you know?
It's all types, and even people who are paranormal investigators, there are people that just do it for the thrill of the hunt, you know, and there are people who do it because they're drawn to the healing aspect of it. So, and you're always going to have those different sides, and you know, people will always make things into a sideshow attraction. That's humans, and they've been doing it. I mean, to animals, they do it to everything. You know, it's an ugly side of human beings. It really is.
Yeah.
It's not entertainment.
This looks like a new roof I put in my house, man. This is like that.
Joe's on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, man.
Yeah, man, no, that looks like my new.
That's Beijing.
Yeah, no, I really do like it. Guys did a good job. But we were talking just the other night. A guy who lives not too far from here. You know, it's weird because a lot of the old plantation homes survive for some reason or another. Some of them don't, but a lot of them that are 200-300 years old have still survived. And a lot of the old slave quarters have survived, and a lot of the other stuff. And not far from here is Boulevard Manor, where the president of the Confederate used to live. And behind it is one of the largest Confederate cemeteries in the country. And it's weird because, you know, when you go by there, first off, it's weird to see 1,000, 2,000 little Confederate flags on every grave. It's just kind of creepy looking. But it's all amongst these huge, massive 200, 300-year-old oak trees. And it doesn't matter when you go by there. It's right. And what's funny is they built the Coliseum right across the street from it. So when you're coming out of Coliseum, a lot of times you'll almost always, when you're walking down that side street to go to your car or something, you'll always see someone walking by there. The amount of people have seen Confederate soldiers standing there, milling around, walking around, or girls dressed in Southern clothes. It's just weird how many people have seen it. And everybody, there have been so many investigations. Matter of fact, there's 3 regular investigations that go in there every year. Just trying to find out who these are, who's haunting the main house, who's haunting the side houses, who's haunting the grounds, who's haunting the damn graveyards. But it's a massive place, and there's a lot of hauntings that go on. Frankly, though, I never feel, I've been out there a couple of times. I haven't really walked the property that much, but I've never really felt anything malicious.
What about like Gettysburg? You know, I mean, it's so active and so many people. It's very well known.
I felt something malicious at Gettysburg.
Yeah, I love Gettysburg.
Yeah, but I felt something malicious out there. It didn't even feel like a soldier. It felt like something else. We stopped through on the way. I was on our way to lecture actually in Gettysburg, which is not far from Gettysburg. It's right outside of DC. But anyway, I was on my way up there to go do a lecture when we decided to stop, and it was I don't know how to explain it. It didn't feel like any ghosties or anything like that. It felt like something really malicious and something like, you know, maybe you should leave now before something actually happens to your ass. And everybody felt it. It wasn't just me. It was just weird feeling. But, you know, it's not as weird as the day, though. I got to tell you this. So we left D.C. We're cruising. We're going to bring some friends home. We're cruising on the interstate, zinging along. And, you know, you go, it's a couple of tunnels you go through. So we're going through this big tunnel. And there's a military facility by this tunnel. So we were driving in the tunnel. And we come out to the other side of the tunnel. And I still remember this. We just passed this exit. I was like, what the? I said, we passed that exit going in. How can we pass that exit coming out? We come to find out, somehow or another, after we came out the tunnel, we were headed back to D.C.
Some good weed right there, man.
Oh, I wish.
I've done that.
I wish I could blame it on that. Trust me, I wish I could blame it on that. Man.
I was eating ribs, and I saw these sparks come up because my car went into the wall, and I came out the other way. It was very weird.
I had 5 navigators in the car with me. It was everybody was just so stunned. And I was thinking, I said, so, you know, I tried listening. Yeah, you know how it was because we had a bunch of people in the car.
Yeah, man.
So and some of them were actually signing in were from West Virginia and Virginia where we were. Yeah. And I was kind of like, I said, well, maybe when we got off at that exit, we got back home, we were going the wrong way. But then we wouldn't have went through the tunnel because I was like, we couldn't explain our way out of this thing. Nobody wanted to be hypnotized. No, because it was the military. We figured if we got zapped, we got Millab. So we were like, oh, man, we didn't want to talk about it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. So then I forgot who it was, G or Cy, or one of them said, oh, my God, where were you? she said, "What the hell's going on? I'm supposed to be home by now." It was like 6:30, and it was only like 1:30 when it started. We had no idea what happened. Nobody still wants to know. Nobody wants to know.
Well, that sounds more like it's extraterrestrial than it is ghosties.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was either. I think it was Uncle Sammy is what I think it was. Because it was a military facility. The thing on top of the tunnel is owned by the military. It's really weird. So I figured that's what it was. I'll tell you what, too.
Maybe it's like the whole tunnel switches around as you're going through there, and they were
I
just
don't know what
messing
it was. It still messes with me even 15 years later. It still messes with me. It's like the day out at Roswell. I mean, we're not at Roswell, out at Area 51. We just cruise. One of the things great about being out there, Mike, you'll love it. Dude. You go as fast as you want. Nobody gives a shit. I mean, dude, you punch whatever your vehicle goes, they're fine with it. Just show it, love it. They're like, yeah, go fast.
Me and Michelle speeding down the road, racing each other through the desert.
I have a car that does like 630 horse.
That's what I'm saying. It's just great out there.
They would love it.
But anyway, just long story short.
Along for the ride.
So
Nathan, that has an excuse around there and says, "Hey, well, the cop pulls over. You were speeding. Yeah, I was trying to get away from a ghost. That place." Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, keep on going.
That's true, man. They're all over the place. That's a good one.
They're funny down there because we was coming from the gate, and we were cruising as fast as we could. No, we actually was going to the side gate. We was cruising as fast as we could. And Nathan was leading us because he was from Utah and he used to go down there all the time. And he'd want to put on the conference, the Utah UFO conference. So we're cruising. I said, dude, there's two big like van things and two big SUV things, and they're cruising towards us. We're going there. They're headed towards us, and they're cruising. And we're watching through the binoculars.
That's the way it is out there. 80-mile-an-hour speed limit in Utah. You got to go 90, 95.
Actually, and the Utah-Colorado connection, it's 95. You can cruise there at 95 legally. I was like, wow, I was having a ball. But where we were and where the base is, they don't have any posted speed limits. You can cruise. They don't care. But we were cruising. So I said, well, I ain't going straight because I don't know what these four guys are. So I seen a gravel road to the left. I just stomped on a brake and just kind of slid down the gravel road at about 85, 90. I'm cruising. So they just started following me. Nathan's trying to, we didn't have a cell phones didn't work, so we had a two-way radio. We talked about it. He said, just keep going straight. You'll get the little alien. Keep going straight. So we come sliding up here, all four cars, man. People, dust, we're all jumping out the vehicles. And you see these guys just come blowing by. They went so by the damn building, felt like it was. I was like, what the hell is that? So they deliberately turned because they were probably headed to the base. I guess we irritated. But I don't know why we irritated because we'd been out by the base all day and nobody was bothering us. They were following us around with the cameras like they always do. We weren't doing anything. Nobody tried to jump the fence or go get anybody or anything.
I see how they took this brain scan technology they came up with a few years and they put them on drones. This is what people are talking about in my little secret group. And what they could do is scan your brain and they apply it to different brain frequencies so they understand your actions, what you're going to do. Things are getting really weird, man. I think it's time to start wearing that tinfoil on our heads. A little bit of foil.
Man, there's a lot of. I noticed Edinburgh, Scotland's got a lot of haunted places. I see now we in Holland.
They got
quite a few,
especially in a place called the Royal Mile. There's buildings in Edinburgh that were actually made with the crushed up bones of people that were killed.
You got whiskey, man. Lots of scotch.
Lots of good whiskey.
Yeah.
It's,
those are spirits I'm interested in Scotland, man.
They have award-winning whiskey. Yeah,
they do.
Whenever there's a war, whenever something really crazy goes down, there's always a Scotsman in the middle of it. There, there's always one Scotsman, and he's giving orders. You get over there.
That's the way it goes.
I got a friend of mine that lives over there that owns a little pub. She's a she, and she only does high-end liquors. But she doesn't serve it by the bottle, only by the glass. She said, I do this so that the average man can actually afford, because the bottles run anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 a glass. So she charges like $5, $10 a shot. And people can stop by and try it, the difference. And sometimes she'll get the local places to sponsor it so they can come in for like $3 or $4 a shot and try them out.
You got to be a mooch. if you're poor and you want to drink good whiskey, you got to go to places where people drink good whiskey and drink with them. And then they because you can get like McLaren's at $25,000 a bottle, man. I mean, me personally, I've never had anything that was more than $5,000 a bottle from. I mean, I didn't buy it, but I had a drink from it. And I'll tell you, that stuff, it's so like oaky and so heavy, and so when Scotch, I'm a 12-year man, 12-year Irish whiskey.
Since you're talking about that,
I'm Irish.
But since you're talking about, that's a good segue into the Myrtle's plantation, because they actually got some good whiskey in there.
Ooh.
But this place,
those are the spirits you want in a house, right?
Yeah, that is kind of spirits you want in a house. But this
where
place,
are we gonna go, man? Where are we gonna go as a group? I thought we were talking about going.
We can. But this place right here, everybody always tells me how haunted it is, how crazy it is. I mean, it's an old plantation, and everybody says there's thousands of ghosts in it. So I've been there with 4 different paranormal teams. So every time I go, they ask me if I can leave. I'm like, why? Obviously, the ghosties don't like me for some reason. They say nothing goes on when I'm there, and I have never seen anything. It's always quiet there. It's like when Michelle talks about sleeping the 2 times I've stayed there. I snored my way through the night. Didn't even hear a bump. Matter of fact, couldn't even hardly hear any crickets outside, which is strange.
Probably your frequency mixes well there, man.
No, it's a beautiful plantation. One of the ladies that worked there says he probably was one of the people who lived here. That's why he doesn't care. I was like, well, just get the hell off me with that bullshit. But it is a great place, and if you are into it, I would recommend for teams to go there. I personally won't come visit y'all there because obviously whatever goes on there doesn't like it when I'm there. But it seems to be a very relaxed place. It's laid back. It's a beautiful ground, so you can walk around, enjoy yourself. It's just a good place to hang out. And if you want to go ghost chasing, it's good for that. But if you really want to do serious ghost chase people, I recommend the Boucouré, the French Quarter, the Marigny, Uptown, St. Charles area. That's the old city. That's where all the shit went on back in the day. And that's where you're going to really feel and sense the stuff that really goes on.
You know what? I want to ask you guys a question, man. As a producer, have you ever heard of a super chat?
Yeah, there is super chat.
YouTube does it for live. Yeah. And people, so to do a super chat, people can put whatever they're writing up on your screen, but they pay you a set amount of money for that, and it's a donation to the show, but it goes right up on your screen. I just find it I was watching a guy do it the other night who's not even very well watched, and he made a few $100 by doing it.
Yeah, and tell YouTube thank you, because that was already set up on the other page, and we were making money on the damn thing. But yeah, YouTube.
Well, until that shit. I mean, that what's her face?
Well, no, this is
getting stars against us. I mean, really.
Yeah,
but come on, we talk about everything, and we don't have those things, stars against us, man. We talk about all
now we got I was telling Michelle the other day, the new page got hit on from conspiratorial. I forgot what they were talking about, but they said it was hate speech. And it's just YouTube has gotten so restrictive, and what bothers me about it is no one else cares. Even Facebook don't give us any shit about it.
Just tell them you're a liberal, and they'll leave you alone, man. Leave that song, "Love Me, I'm a Liberal."
They wouldn't believe it. I would tell them, but they're not going to do it. What the hell is this place I just rolled up on my screen? Hellfire Club.
AOC is sexy. Wow.
Yeah, that's a really haunted place in the UK. The Hellfire Club.
Cool building, though.
But it is a cool building, and the caves, the Hellfire Caves, are like pretty amazing too.
What's in there, though? Like, what was it for?
Secret societies.
Animal sacrifice, black
sex, lots of sex,
satanic rituals.
They would
do lots of naked people. All right, I can go there.
Sex.
Okay, now where are we at now? See, the whole island over there just seems to be just haunted beyond belief. That's because the Vikings were rampant.
It's got history, though.
But you're going back to the time of the Druids and the Celts and whatever was there before. Yeah. There was a whole society there. I mean, it's seen so much war. It's unbelievable.
A lot of conflict. Yeah, a lot of conflict.
Absolutely. Sitting on it, though.
Suffering,
sitting on a table
plagues.
Right there?
I mean, you name it.
Yo, that's Dell behind the plant right there.
Is that Dell?
That's Dell. What the hell are you doing, man?
Go back there, man.
I'm in many places all at once.
You better not
let everywhere you want to be.
She's gonna get you back in the cage and catch you over there.
I am everywhere you want to be. That's right.
Well, that's one thing that used to drive me crazy about one of my friends that used to live up in Canada on the East Coast. He used to fly back and forth to the UK all the time. It was like nothing. Man, from here, it's like a small fortune.
Yeah, but you're putting all these things up from Wales and whatever. That doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, look at how haunted New Orleans is, or there's places in Georgia. I mean, all through the United States, Boston.
And they've showed some. This is just around the world. These are around the world. They've showed a couple from the United States. See Montego Bay.
We got our own battlefields.
Oh, see, this is where we need to go. Right
this is really haunted. This place.
This is where we need to go as a group right here.
You know why? Because that white witch woman was crazy, man. And then she tortured her slaves, tortured them. She's actually from South Africa. And
right there too.
And then they went,
Waldo, man. Shit.
Then they killed her ass. And they ganged up on her one night and killed her. So there's some stuff going on there.
Yeah, we covered this on one of the Gray Zone, Joe. This is like amazing. She killed her husband, several husbands. And and definitely still kicking around apparently.
Oh yeah.
My sister visited there. She said it definitely was interesting.
She took pregnant female slaves and would tie their legs together so they couldn't give birth, and they would die like that and watch them suffer while she would do it with others, like she was sick, like the version of sick is sick. That type of suffering, that doesn't just go away, man.
No, that doesn't.
See, this is just a hop, skip, and a jump from where I'm living.
And that's also really haunted.
Very phallic. Very phallic.
8 hours from there now.
Viagra ad coming up. Ooh.
Oi. Oi, indeed.
Si, senor.
Oi.
Oh, see, this is down the street from where the kids live.
Grande.
I don't remember seeing it in black and white like this last time I was there. They must have painted it again.
Looks like it'll just twist right up in there, man.
I'm just saying, it's
a twister. It's a twister.
Now, see, this is one I've never been on, but I've known countless researchers and things.
Yeah.
Oh, the Queen Mary.
Yeah.
It's sad too because isn't it going up for sale or it's closed just recently?
Really?
It's closed. Yeah.
I thought they were going to refit it and kind of put it out there again.
Yeah, I don't know. The last I read, which we're only talking a couple months ago, is that because they were having difficulties with the pandemic. I mean, it may open up now, but they were looking to actually close it down. It was being discussed, and I thought, oh my God, that's so sad if that's the case, because it's become quite a landmark for many different reasons.
Yeah.
So go stay there as a hotel. Check out the ghosties.
Mm-hmm.
After this next version of COVID kills everybody, we'll have a lot of room to roam, man. There'll be a lot. There'll be no borders anymore.
Oh, I got to remember. Oh, wait, yeah. Jenny's coming on with us Friday on the Central. She's going to hang out with us. She does Chasing Prophecy.
Oh,
she's. I've been listening to her politics. I wanted to come hang out with us. It's
I like Amelia, man. She was right on it with that one, and was getting the stars. I like feisty women. Turn on, man. I like intelligent, feisty. The ones who'll go right for your jugular vein. I love that, man. It's like the biggest attraction. Yep.
Where the hell is this? Australia? See, I wouldn't mind going to visit Australia, but I'm not.
If she wasn't in a relationship, she wasn't in a relationship, I'd be singing it outside the window with a guitar serenade with some black roses saying, "Come on."
You're listening, Bubbles?
Let's see the world. Let's go explore.
Oh, this is a nut ward, huh? Okay. I would think I was nuts.
Australia is really haunted. My daughter lived in Australia, in New South Wales for a while, and she's very empathic. And she really struggled with being in a lot of the areas down there. Yeah, there's so much going on.
Well, yeah, because think about back in the day, it was all crazy people. It was like a jail. I mean, really, they wiped out the poor Aborigines.
Right.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
This could be another place that's haunted. You don't believe is India.
Yeah, people don't.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I got this guy, AJ, who's invited me and anyone who wants to come with me to go there. And he picked out the 9 most haunted places in his area. And he's the head of, he's the head of programming for BBC now. He used to be in charge of IBN 7, which is like their version of CNN. It's the CNN affiliate, yeah. And so he did documentaries, and he did a documentary on a village there where every second, third house, the whole family's reincarnated, and they can remember their past lives, and those past lives, who they were, their names, everything about it, man. He said it's a phenomenon. I'm
That's
like, what
crazy.
about that? I said, what about the place is different? I'm like, is it on like some kind of special stone or, when paranormal, you want to look at the nature too and what's going on, running water, a lot of salt or anything that's going to carry that. Incredible. But if you guys are ever down going to India, man, not now.
Well,
but
not at the moment.
No. I think I'm past for a while, man. No, I think we'll stay away from
Yeah, I
it
think
for a
we're
while.
good for now.
You know where I really want to go?
I might go visit Canada now that I can go there again.
I want to go to Nuremberg, Germany.
Oh, wait.
And
Hold on, wait. I gotta say this part.
Okay, what?
So why is it that I can go up there, but y'all can't come down here?
Because you're special.
No. I was told today that we can travel back into Canada.
They're reopening the border.
You can, and you know what? They're even going after people who are flying in the airports and coming here. They're making it really hard. You have to be tested. Well, you have your vaccine, but unless you've had them both,
so we got a thing that came in the mail. It says if you've got your vaccine card and your passport and everything's up to date, you're allowed to travel back in Canada.
Justin Trudeau invites you to Canada.
So I'm kind of like, I was like, really? So that was caught me off guard because I know Canada's just so like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I go travel, but I can't see none of my friends because they're all locked down.
Pretty much.
It makes no sense to me at all.
I know. It's a raw deal.
So I can go shopping and wait. So I can go shopping and buy y'all's products that y'all can't buy. That is,
you can go outside their houses and eat that stuff and
look out
the window. I can
go right over the border and get a laugh about it.
Just
and I thought Biden was messed up. Jesus. What can I do now?
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna have to have some kind of like Canadian tunnel to save these guys, man. Like that railroad back in the day. Like
Canadian railroad. There we go.
Wow.
Bundle our bodies out in Canada before it gets too bad.
I'll stay in my haunted house. Thanks.
Not when you tell you guys start speaking Mandarin.
I will stay in my haunted house.
Michelle's got enough visitors; she doesn't have to go anywhere.
Pretty much, exactly.
All I can say is start speaking Mandarin.
So I want to go to Nuremberg, Germany.
These are catacombs. Now I noticed. I'd like to go here.
I'm telling my Germany story.
Yes, and the lineups to get in there is so long during tourist season. I mean, you will wait forever to get in there. Same with Edinburgh.
God.
The catacombs in Edinburgh are the same.
The catacombs in Paris, people party in there. We used to party in there, man. I was there for a little while. You know what? They had raves, and then you would just go in, man. Boom, and party down. It was a lot of fun.
Well, you were allowed in sections when you did that also that weren't open to the tourists.
Yeah. But Nuremberg, Germany
very good
had an
place.
alien battle happen overhead. And, in 1561, and they called it a celestial phenomenon. People saw discs shooting light at each other. They were crashing into the ground. And then a big arrowhead one showed up. All these little discs went into it, and it took off. That's not sunspots, and that's not a solar flare.
Oh, yeah, that's the Greek marking for dough.
But
it
happened actually twice. But if this happened for real, and those craft were going to the ground and crashing and smoke coming out, they remnants of that radiation still have to be there because it doesn't just go away.
True.
You know that.
True.
So I went on Google Maps and I looked at the radar, the radar or the satellite of those areas. There are huge clearings out in the woods for no reason, no foundation, nothing there, just big clearings, like something crashed there, and that was it. And I think that would be fun to do. I think it'd just be fun to do, man.
You find that shit all over.
It was so big. Artists in the town made renditions of it. They made wood carvings. They actually had a newspaper at that point. They wrote about it in the newspaper. People came out of their homes to look up in the sky because of the noise and the ruckus, and they saw this. They attributed it to God and Jesus, that God was mad and this is what happened, and you're screwed. So haha. You know what I mean? But it also happened over Switzerland a short time later. So, and you put that together with Admiral Byrd and what he said about the South Pole, about those discs, and the greatest threat to any nation are these discs. And, his planes flew into imaginary, like walls, and they crashed to the ground, and his fleet was decimated. He went back to D.C. right away to report this. I mean, the information is there. You just need to get it.
Oh, yeah. There's a similar story that went on with the Black Fleet in Antarctica. Yeah, same idea. You should look that up. You find it interesting, Michael.
It's interesting that every major figurehead of any, even a pope has made their way to Antarctica.
Yeah, but they were decimated. They believe they were actually the Nazis. Just Google the Black Fleet.
Before that, this is Bird and all that was a little before that, but this was all, I guess, probably all at the same time,
Yeah,
but
Google the Black Fleet. It's really fascinating stuff.
There's a group on the internet on YouTube that actually goes to these satellite pictures and looks for stuff, and they think they found an alien aircraft, a disc. It's in the ice, like it's slid in, and you can see the form of it in the ice and the perfect shape of it, but all this stuff is just very interesting to me, and it'd be fun to explore, but no one's going to pay me to do it, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I don't even think you I think you'd be struggling and hard pressed to get into that. It has a lot of underground tunnels and stuff that would be so much fun to explore.
But you see, I know how to bullshit my way into any situation, man, because I did it in the club business. My friend Jay and I used to do it to get into concerts when we were like 15, going to the Coliseum. We realized quickly that the tags they would wear, or the name tags, all access area around their necks, also came from the cassette tapes. It was the album cover from the cassette tape. So we go to Woolworths, we buy the cassette tape, and they had a laminate there. We pay 50 cents for the laminate and make our own all access areas. If we walk into that truck tunnel, my friend Jay would have a little briefcase. We'd walk right past security and be like, "Hi," and they were like, "Hi." We were like 15. But we got to see so many shows that way and go backstage. That was cool. I'll never regret those days, man.
Were they haunted?
Haunted? I don't know. After you get drunk enough with people, we got into Slash's whiskey. We went into his dressing room while they were on stage. We walked right in, and there was like all these they had a cheesecake that had all these cigarette butts in it. I guess they were putting their cigarettes out in the cheesecake. That was appetizing. But yeah, his Jack Daniels collection. So we took a swig out of the bottle and ran the fuck out of there. That's the stuff you do when you're young.
Yeah.
That was last year. That was last year.
Yeah.
I'm a work in progress, man. It's a lifetime. You know what I mean? What is that thing? It's like someone sticking something up a dog's ass in that commercial. You're showing these commercials, man.
Castle Salzburg, Austria. Austria has amazing haunted locations.
Someone putting like toothpaste. Austria?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Look at that beautiful castle. Wow.
Europe is loaded with places like that.
So you want to replace the roof
haunted?
on there?
No, but the chances of them mostly being haunted are probably pretty good.
What's the roof? What's the roof on that castle right there, Joe? How much?
A lot of times they're made of copper or slate.
Probably slate. And slate is a bitch.
Slate. That's probably slate.
Yeah, slate's nasty.
Slate, some asbestos-based product that probably kill you taking it off. You're looking at $2 million, maybe $3 million to do that roof.
Crazy.
So there was one down the MacLeod Clan's Castle in Scotland had a copper roof done, and it's just stunning. And the story says was that the government at the time did not want to put a new roof on there, and basically the head of the family said, well, we're going to sell off part of the Highlands that belong to us, because a lot of the clans are still very much in control of some of the areas, according to them anyway. And finally they worked something out with the Scottish government, and they did pay for part of the roof, if not all the roof, as long as the castle stayed open to tourism certain hours of the day and days of the week, just for when tourists came in, which was an agreement, and you can go visit there. And I think it would be a lot of fun just to go and check out. I mean, I know the Highlands are just really, you go to so many different places, the Isle of Skye, so much activity. You just feel it. It's got an air like no other. It's just unbelievable. So I think it would be a lot of fun to go explore.
No. Don't. Dog, stop.
Okay, wait. I want you to hang out north here.
I think Dell's dog ate him, man. All I heard was stop, no. Or maybe Laurel, I got to him.
I think it was Laurel. I think Laurel, I think she's...
Get over here!
I think that's what
was that whipping stick.
But no, we've picked up some listeners in Austria recently. And
I love
actually,
it when a
another one
Canadian
of them
guy.
tonight was kind of nice.
I love when a Canadian guy pleads for like mercy. No, stop it, man! Like, he's stopping, No, poor guy.
Oh man, I thought that somebody had okay. Anybody out
What
there
were you
watching?
saying, Joe? What were you saying?
Oh, actually, now I'm shopping for a meteorite ring. That's what I was doing.
I just sold one
that.
recently.
It's actually no, I seen this really pretty blue ring the other day, and it's got meteorite and some type of looks like an Australian opal or something that's been smashed into the stone or smashed into the ring. Look kind of nice. Might have to check it out. As you see, I don't wear jewelry. I haven't for years and years and years. Being a contractor, jewelry is a dangerous thing. That's why I never wore a wedding ring. I had one I was going to wear right after we got married. And I was sliding down a ladder, and there's a little metal burr on the ladder, and it caught the damn ring, like to flung me off 4 stories up in the air.
Contractors can't
that
wear
was the end of
jewelry.
that. No, you can't. It's just dangerous.
I learned that in shop class.
Yeah, it's dangerous. That's why when the kind of watches we wear, they pop loose if you hit something on them. So you have a choice. Somebody said, "Well, that's kind of expensive watch." I said, "Yeah, well, I'd rather lose the watch than the arm, buddy." Just be honest about it. Watch can be replaced. And this particular one's insured anyway, so it doesn't matter if it pops off. They're just nice to have. It's we get so many weird home people will tell me. We go like just recently we were doing a house in the city, about 140-year-old house, and she goes, Mr. Joe, there's ghosts in my house, right? I said, ghosties don't mind me. She said, are you sure? She said, we've lost 2 contractors because they said tools were going missing and work would get screwed up. I said, ghosties ain't gonna bother us. So we working there. We've been there about 3 days. She said, I noticed somebody left a plate of chocolate chip cookies. I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, there's a plate of chocolate chip cookies on a table in there. And it turned fresh baked. And I said, what did you do? Just baked them. Her oven was cold as ice.
So they liked you.
Yeah, so because we disconnected them. And she's like, no. She said, I'm serious. And I'm like, well, I said, well, apparently they like us. And we went to eat, and they were good chip cookies, by the way. I was hoping I wouldn't turn into some zombie afterwards or something. And I was like, and then a couple of days later, we taken up this little thing in the backyard because they had these old clay plumbing. It's not like real plumbing today where you have steel or plastic. This is some old clay shit. It looks like old clay shingles actually. And so we were breaking it out of it and getting it out. And right as we did, I heard like, what the hell was that? So I reached my hand and this 100-year-old, this 150-year-old swords, pull out a jar full of silver dollars from I think it was 1882.
Well, they really liked you.
I was like, well, what the hell here? New Orleans mint stamp
business. I'll tell you something about people, man. They bury things. Old people bury things in their yard. And we did a house. In fact, no one in this house who owns it now, and it almost looks like it's abandoned. They don't know about the yard because I never said anything to anybody. The guy died right on his lawnmower, cutting his lawn. So this dude was the biggest collector of Civil War, Revolutionary War, World War I type of stuff, right? And coins. He had thousands of coins. When he died, they didn't find any coins, not one in the house.
So they're around somewhere.
He had 5 acres of land. So guaranteed he buried everything because, even the guy mentioned to one of his friends one time that, the guys that will come to my antique store said, yeah, I bury stuff sometimes. But imagine going through that property, with some nice ground detection device and see what the deal is,
Mm. Oh yeah, I'm sure you'd find.
Oh,
it's got to be somewhere.
They found when the guy did the estate sale, the son. We were up in the attic. It was like one of those walk-in attics, and one of my friends kicked the panel open, and there was a bucket of jewels in there. Like the guy's like, "That's my mom's jewels," Inside, they found 2 samurai swords the guy brought back from the war in World War II, and those things are worth a ton of money. Real samurai, man, especially if it's old and signed. But no coins, and no coins, no Civil War, no Revolutionary War stuff, nothing. And the guy was a huge collector. He was like a known collector. Unless he has some kind of space. A lot of those guys die with they rent some storage space. And then you ever watch that show Storage Wars, like where they auction them off and they cut them open, Most places here in New York don't do that. If you owe them money, they'll take the stuff themselves. They'll keep the good stuff and auction off the crap.
We had a deal where a guy owned one, a big one, 80 units. he wanted us to renovate the place, and he had like 25 units that hadn't been open in 2 years. He said, "Whatever's in it, you can have. That's part of the deal for getting."
That's fun, man. That's fun
There's all
stuff.
kind of shit. Then we found
There's
all kind of stuff.
no much more fun. Come on, diving through treasure. You never
But you know what? There was a lot of ancient, like 8 tracks and shit. There's some ancient crap in some of these.
People buy 8 tracks.
Players,
you gotta know the business.
We have
I
4
think they were
giant
home.
storage units. Just saying.
And I think they were home, too.
4.
Because
So much crap we have.
Yeah.
Well, it's not all
we
crap,
had,
but I'm just saying.
we got 3 boats out of the deal and a jet.
There's always somebody out there that wants to buy some of that stuff. That's the whole.
So what happened to you, man? Did the dog eat your camera?
No, the dog. I stood up. The dog went and chased the cat and knocked the cords because I was outside and I brought stuff in because it was starting to almost rain.
Oh boy.
And then the dog moved in with the cat, and I was like, no, stop.
I heard you were like, no, eh? Look, don't do that. And then you were gone. You were like, zoop.
No, I don't think I ever say A like that.
That's my brain. It kind of adds things in there sometimes.
Don't forget, coming up next, guys, Horsefly Chronicles.
Thinking that we say a boot. I've never said a boot in my life.
In Canada, you say like, what are you doing, eh? And in New York, it's like, hey, what are you doing? So it's kind of you gotta just flip it around.
No.
We got the A too. Hey man, I'm not gonna hate on Canadians. My favorite band is from Canada. Rush.
Yes.
I thought you were gonna say ABBA.
ABBA's not from Canada, man.
They're from Sweden.
Sweden.
Yes.
Dancing Queen.
What do you mean? In Canada and Sweden, all the same thing to me.
Oh my gosh.
You're a dancing
all the
queen.
same thing to me, man.
Remember Mean Gene, the dance machine from the Gong Show, man? Mean Gene would get out there. Shows aren't fun anymore.
See, typical Americans, coal, weed legal, same country, same place, same part of the world. How's that? Up there in the northern part. Oh, Lord.
We have fun up here in the north, man.
Only
Not
crazy
really.
people live in the north.
Not really. I just paid my taxes. I'm not having fun at all. I was temporarily blind and brain dead afterwards. I don't know, for a whole year of COVID, they're supposed to be like, we're giving you tax breaks. I didn't see any.
No, you're not going to either. Anyway, we ain't
No, you know why? Because
no,
if you're
we ain't talking about that. Get off
we're not going there.
Come on, get off of that.
They want you to have kids.
We only hear about it. We got that till Friday, so we hear about that on Friday. It's oh yeah, that's another thing too. When I was thinking about the damn ghost down here. So right there, there's a little club on Bourbon Street. Right on it's what's the name of it? It looks like it's where it's on St. Anne, and it's a great gay club these days, but just a little tiny place.
It's called the Blue Balls.
And that's not what it's called.
It's
actually, it's really, really, really famous. I can't, for some reason, the names evade me. It's a really famous little place, and it looks like a place out of another place out of France. It's actually just a copy of it. Actually, it was built in the quarter about 180, 200 years ago. It actually survived through 3 different fires, and it's still there. They tell you all the time when it cracks me up when the gay guys are talking about it, because they're like, yeah, we on the stage, we're doing this, we're doing that, and then all of a sudden there's like a ghost standing on each side of you, just standing there looking at you like, I can only think some ghosts from like 200 years ago looking at in this gay club going, really? What the is going on here? I can just picture it. I just can't, I'm trying to.
I want to hear more about why you're hanging out in gay clubs, man. I know that's a good way to get alcohol. You know what I mean? Like guys like, hey,
I'm not allowed to go in.
You buy you a drink, buddy. I'm like, okay, that's all you're going to get.
I'm banned from that end of the quarter for some reason. I never did find out why.
All you gotta do is go in there with a box of Twinkies, man. You're like the most popular.
They've got a picture on the side of the street right there. It says Joe's not allowed. What the hell would I do, man?
Joe's not allowed.
Yeah, what the hell would I do?
This man, no.
It's funny, but it's true. There's a list that you can find. You can still find it today of all the people who are banned from certain clubs and certain places in the quarter. And for lots of different reasons. And some of them actually had to deal with ghosties and deaths and things like that. And some of them do really stupid shit.
You got some voodoo people there.
There's a lot of weird stuff.
Here's an interesting question there for you guys all that do paranormal research. Have you ever come across a ghost animal?
Yes, we have them in the house.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We
have ghost cats in the house, and I'm pretty sure we've got the dog here.
I would have a ghost barbecue.
I had somebody send me a picture of a ghost horse.
You got growling.
Cool. It was her horse, and she took a picture, and it was definitely the horse. So yeah, they're definitely out there.
So how would you cross that over then if they don't speak?
Same way, they understand. And you have to understand they're also in spirit also.
Gotta use 10 vittles. Kind of lure them out.
Some of them have ascended. That my little Chi-Chi is ascended for sure, and but we were just very bonded, so she comes back around. And some of the cats also. There's the cats that have been here for long time. People were having reports of cats just rubbing up against their legs and kept describing this gray cat. We're just like, do we have a gray cat? No, we don't have a gray cat. We never had a gray cat. So where did it come from?
So who cleans the ghost litter box then?
See, yeah, I don't know. Just miraculously disappears, thankfully. So, but it's interesting. We're sure the dog channels the other dog, because the other dog now just does weird things that she's never ever done before, and they're all the same mannerisms and characteristics of the other dog that passed last year. And we have to say, okay, get out of the dog. That's just ridiculous. Stop it. And she just starts behaving with little facial expressions. All the mannerisms are the same. And we're just like,
well, somebody's got the pet whisperer coming on soon.
Yes. Well, I don't know, man. Definitely, I'm going to have a little pet reading and communicate with the dog and say, okay.
Pet cemetery type of action, man.
Yeah, no, nothing like that.
Ooh, they got Pet Cemetery 2 coming out. They got a director for it today.
I thought 3.
Is it 3?
It would be 3. It would be 3.
Yeah.
Oh.
Came out.
Well, somebody, I'm going to have to write them on the thing, on the feed. It was on Yahoo News today, so it wouldn't surprise me they made him screw up. I just seen it in pass, and I was like, oh, really? Okay, I didn't like the first one, so I think I can probably watch another one.
I got to interview Joey Ramone right before he died about Pet Cemetery, the song. That was kind of cool. He was definitely that kind of guy. I think they buried him in his pet cemetery, actually.
Yeah. Jack, we got a couple minutes. No, you can't call in. There's no call-in number. You can go to go to UFO Paranormal Radio on YouTube. Yeah, that'd be the best place to go. No, you mean who's famous haunted houses? Oh, my favorite. All of our famous haunted houses. No, speak English. Or print English, I should say.
Come on, Carnegie Hall, man. People have told me all kinds of stories what goes on there at night. So much theater in the city. The Broussard Theater, another one. You have so many. The Paramount Theater, that the security guards at night will tell you they see apparitions all the time. One guy said the security chief told me he couldn't even get people to work at night, the graveyard shift because of that. Because there'd be people on stage and all this stuff going on. I'm like, get some cameras on it, man. Don't tell me.
It'd be such an amazing opportunity for an investigator. Yeah. Hire a ghost investigator to work these places, because we'd be all over that stuff.
Or paranormal cameras, right?
Everything. Yeah.
Like an internet paranormal cam that anybody can just kind of click on. I do that with the Hamptons. I like watching the ocean during the day. I keep it on the background so I can hear it. And that's just the coolest. They have the aquarium too. See the shark cam. You see all the sharks all frustrated because they're stuck in a stupid little small tank. But but I wouldn't mind doing ghost cameras in places. That would be awesome, man.
Queen Mary had great ghost cameras at one time. They had 4 different ones, and they had one that was basically right on the swimming pool area, and some of them were free and some of them were subscription, so it was a good way for them to raise some money.
The haunted the mortuary in New Orleans, at the haunted mortuary in New Orleans, it's got its own cams you can access. It actually has 2 suites you can come hang out. It's nestled in between 2 graveyards and a graveyard behind it. And then it's the old mortuary from back 150 years ago. So anybody can go check in and stay there. They do stuff for like Halloween and other kind of weird shit, but they swear that place is haunted like you wouldn't believe. I've never experienced anything there myself. Been in there quite a few times, but
see, this looks like an awesome place. The one on the top.
Yeah, no, sadly, I had to go roaming through there.
Yeah, we've got a tower here. It's fun.
How'd you get me into trouble?
There's
this don't even
Lamp Mansion. Oh yeah, place is crazy.
This don't even look like it would be haunted. When you look at it from the outside, you'd be like, really haunted from what?
Apparently, it's very
clean and proper and shit.
Yep.
Put up Mark's Mansion, man, the Erie Mansion.
I'm just pulling up whatever's on these things.
People can go right to YouTube and watch my video.
Now you see, now I can see the king walking around, having a good time in his own.
Yeah, people will tell he's walking around, but he's still human.
Yeah, right.
Some people will tell you that Elvis has not left the building. Just saying.
Oh, poor Elvis. According to Men in Black, he was an alien and left the planet. So.
I don't know. There's a pretty convincing picture of him watching his own funeral.
Right.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's like 5 million Elvis impersonators out there.
That's what you're banking on.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty damaging, but whatever. Dead or alive.
I don't know.
He was a big druggie. He could have died. Who knows? Look at Jim. What about Jim Morrison?
That
Talk about mysterious.
Yes.
No autopsy. Yeah. They never let anybody exhume the grave. You know, died in Paris, gone.
Yeah,
and that ghost picture that's considered like nobody's been able to debunk it. Have you seen that one, him in Paris?
Yeah. He told friends that he was going to cut out to South America and just change his name and be done. I mean, he was that kind of guy. So
there you go.
There's a story that actually a story that I just watched, I think, a couple of days ago about Jim Morrison and about that whole night and that when he OD'd or supposedly OD'd, and then they took the body out and put him in the place that we were at, and then it was really, really interesting. This is it was 2 European guys that came over that to the mob and that gave them whatever the drugs were. They took them out. They put him in a vehicle, dropped him off, and then the cops were called, and a whole different side of the story that wasn't sort of relayed out in at the original time. It was really interesting.
His father was an admiral, yeah.
Yeah, well, that was that whole thing about that with the attack or not Bay of Fundy or Bay of something, whatever, about that whole military place to get the America into the war and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff about that. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go check this place out in the quarter. I didn't even know this was here.
Yeah, you've got it. Nice. That's really close.
Look how nice that is. That second floor with that wraparound deck and stuff like that, right on the road.
Most of the places in the quarter have an upper deck.
I love the wrought iron though. Look at that; it's beautiful.
I don't understand why people don't do that to everybody's house and stuff like that. Like you just have that.
People, and you'll see certain times of year, all those will be full of people, just hanging out,
throwing beads to all the rest of the people on the streets, eh?
The White House that is haunted. The White House is haunted.
It is haunted.
So it makes you wonder, like all these past presidents that are seen. You know, do they need to be sent on?
So
like
what happened
Dolly Madison, Andrew Jackson, Thomas Jefferson? Like,
so what happens when Trump dies? When he moves in as a ghost, everybody's going to leave?
It's like, they just don't want to let the seat go, you know? Like, we're staying. That's that. I mean, a lot of, current presidents have seen past presidents there. Yeah, that's been sold again. Lizzie Borden, that'll be open for tours again.
See, now look at that. If you would go and put a wraparound deck on the second floor there, how much that place would look nicer.
Yeah.
Be worth more too.
Yeah.
We got here.
This one's the
Spanish style.
Sir William's House, Savannah, Georgia. Everything in Savannah is haunted. Let's face it.
Yes, it is. Everything is like New Orleans.
It is. Yeah.
Another one in cities, people are dying all over the place from all kind of rivers.
Yeah.
And where's this one? It's Chicago.
The Jane Addams Hull House, Chicago. Yeah. These are all pretty famous places. A lot of them are like museums too, so you can go in and check them out. There it is, Michael. The Amityville Horror House.
Dun, 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 dun. What is this? They got some little kids out here praying and shit. What the hell?
This is an old picture, though. This would probably have been when the DeFeos were there.
This house just looks like it's looking at you like I'm watching.
It does. That's all changed, though. They don't have those windows anymore.
Yeah, I'd have got rid of them damn creepy ass windows too.
Yeah, it all looks different now.
That's the college shit out of it. Get rid of all of that.
Yeah, that's a shame. Had a beautiful colonial look about it. Been modernized.
Because in the movie they made those look like eyes. That's why they get rid of that shit.
Yeah.
They wanted to change the look so people wouldn't recognize it. So,
San
and I
Diego,
think they even changed. I don't know if they changed the address at one point. I changed the address at one of my houses at one point, so I know it can be done.
See, this is French Quarter style in San Diego.
Yeah, but the Whaley house is like really haunted. They follow me on Twitter, and I've been invited out. It's just like, oh, that would be nice to go. But again, a long time ago. I don't make my way down to California often.
But Kelly's pretty clear now. It's
I found it so polluted.
well, yeah.
The Winchester house. Yeah, that one's slightly haunted.
Yeah, that's a really crazy story about that. I've watched about 15 documentaries about that, about how she kept on building and stuff like that, and like there's staircases that go up to like a to nowhere. They just go up to this
doors that open to nothing. They open into brick walls, windows that have brick walls, secret passageways, and a lot of it just to appease the spirits.
Yeah,
it's crazy when you think about it. Things just appease.
Crazy ass looking house.
Yeah. So I don't know. I purposely look for places to stay at, to eat at that are haunted. I love the history behind them, the architecture, a lot of times the culture. I'm not bothered by staying in a haunted location. So it's just sort of like mingling with new people, just on a different level. You know, I've been in many different parts of the world, you know, places I didn't even think would be haunted. You know, when I was in Romania, I mean, I went to, look for the most obvious haunted places. But I mean, I ended up staying at a villa when I was in Braun and had no idea that this place was haunted. It didn't have any specific feel about it. And yet, boy, my name got called out at about like 6:30 in the morning, right in my ear. I was just like, heart attack. It's like, what is there, fire? What is it? Meanwhile, it's like nobody there. So it's like, okay, that's great.
You'd figure right, for if you're gonna look about haunted places and stuff like that, you'd figure Egypt would be the biggest sort of area with all that energy there in the pyramids and all that history there.
I had an experience there.
A lot more of it than just other places, right?
It's again the history, everything. I did have an experience in the pyramid, and it was like amazing.
What was
but I mean, I only had one experience, and it was there. Out of all the other places that I've been and stayed at, it was just like. So I don't know. It's just. One experience. I thought exactly like you did, that, oh my God, this place is going to have stuff everywhere. But it wasn't my focal point of going there, because when I went there, I wasn't like researching or anything. I was like, really intuitive. My mediumship skills were okay at the time, and happened on to this guy, just like popped my head. I was like, oh, okay. Beyond that, it was nothing else. So
ghost or not, I'm not getting into that pool.
Yeah.
It's been showing the most haunted places in New York.
The public look Greenpoint.
I'm not getting in the pool. That was number 3, was my current park.
Well, Michael should know about this place. Paranormal NYC was there.
Michael passed out. I heard him go thunk.
That's the robot from Jaws 3 show up in there, the 3D in like Karen Park pool.
I saw that robot when I was in California. Yeah, there we go. There he is.
Oh, we've been looking at stuff in New York. We're on the Ear Inn, whatever the hell that is.
The
Ear Inn.
It says the West Village.
Soho.
Somewhere in Soho. I don't know.
New York City's crazy. Downstairs in the, I worked in the club business, man. I reviewed stuff. I was an entertainment writer for quite a while, so we went to all the dives, man. We went to the basement of all these places, but in the Limelight, which is a church, they made it into a club. Down in the basement, there's catacombs, and that's just kind of the beginning. When the Chinese were in the city back in the day when they were building New York City, they had all these tunnels under Chinatown, and just unbelievable catacombs, and just they go on and on and on. So there's actually a city under the city. A lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of places that they built on top of, and there's buildings in there, old subways in there. There's all kinds of weird stuff, man. That's something to explore. If you like rats.
Yeah, but you're gonna find stuff like that. You just
Oh,
have
yeah.
to
I want to go to this place right here and have
Brass
dinner. I
tap.
don't even care about the ghosties. This place is a nice place to have dinner.
Check
That's
out the
like an
Limelight.
old church. Yeah.
Yeah, old stained glass, man,
Go in
cut
there for some
glass.
prime rib.
I could see sitting up on the balcony having dinner. Oh man, yeah, these people
Looks
living
nice.
good down there in New York. Former
That's right.
Astor Room. What the hell
Us
is
Yankees were high on the hog, man.
that? What
The
the hell kind of?
Astor Room.
What is this?
Rudolph Valentino. The Astoria Cafe
Alf-
was a hangout of
No,
the
like
1920s
what
matinee
those-
idol Rudolph Valentino, who
I
might
don't
still
know,
be
what else is that?
congregating where
Speed
he
room meeting?
dined while filming movies at the former Paramount Studios. Why don't I know about this? I stayed out in that area.
It's the first I've ever heard of this place.
Yeah, Valentino's also been spotted around old haunts in LA, making him quite
Mike, you should
quintessential.
know about these places in your territory, man.
Well,
I'm
this
playing
is
it like
this
I
is
don't know.
Hollywood, isn't it?
No,
Oh,
man,
this is
you
New York. It's
gotta
all New York.
go to
Ah,
you gotta go to Chelsea Savoy, man, which is that's where Sid Vicious died. He had committed suicide there, and
mm.
his girl died there, and Nancy. But other famous people also died there. I think Roman Polanski died in that building. Some of them just died in the hotel because they were living there, and they died.
Didn't Roman
Bartender.
Polanski actually die in Europe because he wasn't allowed to be
I don't know.
here?
Let's
Yeah,
see.
he wasn't allowed to be in the
Yeah,
U.S.
he
He
was.
went- he went
Maybe that's the.
there.
I'm thinking of the wrong. Not Polanski. Who am I thinking of? It was no. What's the other guy's name? He was real famous philanthropist, and he had a famous daughter too. Like, all right, let me look up Hotel Chelsea deaths. How's that?
Okay, yeah, I was going to say because
What is this
like
white Boris Tavern?
Dylan- Dylan- Thomas died there. Nancy Spungen, girlfriend of Sid Vicious. Let me look. Because there was a bunch of people. So apparently you see Sid Vicious in the elevator. People have seen that time and time again, which is really
that would be just insane. Just saying, catching Sid Vicious in the elevator. Jeez. I don't know. Some
right,
people would dig it, I think.
Arthur C. Clarke, who wrote 2001 Space Odyssey.
Right.
Allen Ginsberg, that dude. He was a poet. Gregory Corso. He was a philosophical and artistic exchange, whatever.
Mhm.
Dylan Thomas. Who the hell was I thinking of? I know Sid Vicious and whatever. I don't know. I was thinking of somebody else. But
There's definitely places. I'm sure that Joe and I did a segment on the Gray Zone that talked about haunted places that you can actually go and stay in. So there's a lot of places that you can go that are open to people to go and spend the night, which I think is like awesome.
this is on West 57th. You can stay there. It's still an operating hotel.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of places like that are open to people. Go and take advantage of it.
Well,
I didn't realize what time it is.
Comedy store there. That's
Yeah, I was gonna.
That was a mafia-owned place there before it became a comedy.
Yeah, the one out in LA. I was going to talk about it, but I didn't realize we got to go because it's 6 minutes till. So.
But look at this list of people that actually lived there: Mark Twain, Sam Shepard, Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams. I mean, all these guys stayed at this hotel, like lived there at one time or another. Really cool.
Yeah, well, they do that. Rich people tend to do that a lot, man. Really, Richie.
I think this is when they were on the way down and they had to live in a hotel like me, and they commit suicide, and that's it. That's
You're on
pretty
the way
much it.
down, Michael. Is that what you're trying to say? It's like, that's it, man. I'm down.
Yeah, so anyway, we got to get out of here. So, Michael, tell them bye. Then Dale and Michelle and me, and we'll get out of here.
They can check me tomorrow night on Discovery Paranormal. We're talking about some interesting stuff. And it's 8 p.m. Eastern, and also the Red Pill News. Take the red pill, take the red pill, take the red pill. Every Thursday, 8 p.m.
Awesome.
Dale.
And you can check me out tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern here on UPRN. And I'll be talking to Paul Anthony Wallace and about his new book that just came out May 4th there, Scars of Eden. And tune in.
Yeah, Michelle.
Okay, Wednesday nights and Thursday nights, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 to 10 Central, The Outer Realm with myself and Amelia Pisano. We've got some amazing guests coming on. I'll leave it at that, or we'll be here all night. And of course, Joe and I on The Gray Zone, Uncensored, every Saturday, 5 to 7 Central or 6 to 8 Eastern. Always a lot of fun.
Oh, that's right. We got a new show. I don't know if it's going to be following Michelle or I or starting before us, but they'll be coming on there with regulars on the network. They're doing a couple of shows on the network. So I'll get y'all his names so y'all can see who they are. Actually, they'll probably make the tour next week on a couple of shows so people get to know who they are.
Is that
Anyway.
is that my guest that we have? Is that the one we're talking about?
Darcy.
Darcy Weir.
Yeah. Darcy and his coach. They're gonna be starting a new show and document starting. It's gonna be on Saturday, starting the 29th of this month, by the way. So y'all be sure to come check it out. They're gonna be on Saturdays. I just can't remember. It's gonna be an hour. I just don't. We haven't decided if they're gonna be before us or after us. So, and of course, that makes a big difference in the grand scheme of the universe. We got to go coming up next. The Horsefly Chronicles with Phil and Julie Syracuse. So we hang out for them. They'll be here in about 3 or 4 minutes. The rest of us are going to get out.